Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Purpose and Profit. I am joined by the amazing Dr. Courtney Johnson, the woman that kind of does it all. Multiple businesses, you invest in multifamily, and you just started a very cool business club. And so I'm really excited to talk to you today about all of your many adventures. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here to talk about all the many ventures that I'm doing. I feel like it's endless, right? Like when you're so multi-passionate, it's like, I do this and I do this. I also do this.
It's hard probably for people that have shiny object syndrome to like watch someone like you do all of the things, but they don't really realize probably that you started with one thing at a time and kind of just stacked over time.
Yes, exactly. And I feel like when I first got into before I go down a rabbit hole,
Yeah, that's good.
I feel like before I became a business owner, I definitely had shiny object syndrome for sure.
Well, I love it. Well, since we're kind of already here, go ahead and share your journey. How did you get to where you are today?
Yeah, of course. So I am by trade doctor of physical therapy, grew up wanting to do that. That was always the pipe dream. I always wanted to be a PT. I always wanted to help people, work in healthcare and just be able to, make a bigger difference on a larger scale, working with women, athletes, all of that. So by trade, physical therapy, that's kind of my day to day. But I left, I started out like when I graduated school, working like in a regular clinic, working for somebody else. And over time, I started to like do a lot of like self-development, learning things on my own, investing in mentoring, courses on how to like just obviously be a better like person, individual, better leader, all of these like skills. And then I was like, wait, like, why am I investing in myself so much to like continue working for somebody else? And then I just like grew all these skills and I was like, you know what? Like, screw it. I'm just going to go create my own business. And that's what I did. I left traditional healthcare, outpatient physical therapy, and I, created my own business. I didn't want to create another brick and mortar. So I actually launched an online wellness and coaching rehab company. And I've been doing that for over 3 years now. And as I grew that, I was like, wait, this is actually really fruitful. And, I love physical therapy, like in all that it is. But over time, I'm just like, wait, I love business way more than physical therapy. And I feel like as you, like you can relate as an entrepreneur, like you can be multi-passionate about a lot of things. And like over time, you realize that like, hey, like once something that you used to love, like you don't have to always do that forever. You're allowed to evolve and change and grow as a person. I think that's actually amazing. That's the best part about life is like growing and like evolving over time and learning new skills. And you're like, wait, I don't like that anymore. I like this more. And like, I feel like I'm going to go through a lot of like evolution in my life, but that's kind of how it all started. I was a physical therapist, just working a 9 to 5. And I'm like, I'm going to invest in myself. I feel like I don't know enough, not even a skill set as a PT, but like as just a person, as a leader, like I had no personal development in and out. And then I was like, wait, I'm going to go start a business. And then I started the business and I started scaling the business. And I was like, wait, this is actually really fun. And then since then, I've just kind of like snowballed into things that I've like really leaned into and enjoyed. And I love personal development. I love investing in myself. And that's how I came across like real estate and like, okay, I want to build wealth for myself. I don't want to just do a 9 to 5 every day. I don't want to just work every day. I don't want to build a business every day. I need to do something. I need to put my money to work. All this business, right? Like business is bringing in a lot of income. I'm going to be paying a lot of taxes. So I better figure out what I'm going to do. And that's just kind of how it all evolved over time. And, like we were talking about a little bit ago, is like shiny object syndrome. That's a real thing. And I struggled with that for a long time because like when I was getting into real estate, I'm like, where do I start? I don't have any time to do this. I don't want to invest in like single family homes. Airbnb sounds kind of fun. Oh, wait, co-living. Oh my gosh, multifamily. Like shiny object syndrome is really real. And then I just was like, well, if I'm going to do this, I better do it on a bigger scale because I don't have time to mess around with just like owning businesses. I'm like, I don't have time to mess around with just single family rentals and doing it one by one by one. It's going to take you forever to get to where you want to go. And so that's kind of where I'm at today and how I, started. So
That's amazing. And I think that like what kind of probably and what you can probably agree with is that when you start doing that personal development, you really like wildly start believing in what you're capable of.
Yeah.
And it's almost like the whole world opens to you when you start doing that internal work.
Yes. Well, you just realize you're like, I'm playing small. Like, what am I doing day in and day out? It's like I wake up, I go to work, I come home, I eat dinner, and I live for the weekends. Like I'm waiting to live my life on a Saturday and Sunday, but then I'm like, wait, I have to do everything on Saturday and Sunday that I couldn't do during the week because I worked 9 to 5 and I'm tired. And it's just like it's like a whole new world when you start developing yourself and you're like, wait, I can do way more than I ever thought. And I mean, I didn't come from an entrepreneurial background. Like my parents weren't entrepreneurs. Like I'm like self-made, right? And I had to do these things that pushed me further and learn new skills because I didn't get that. Like I didn't get inherited those properties and those characteristics of like wanting to do more and be more. Like if it were up to my family, like I would be in the same position a lot of them are. And not that that's wrong, like not that that's bad, it's just not what I wanted for myself. So, yeah.
Absolutely. I can identify with that. I think that my family, like being an entrepreneur is like the craziest thing they've ever heard of. Like there's no stability. You don't get the same paycheck every other week, like it's kind of a whole thing. But yeah, I think sometimes we're just made a little bit different for good reasons. But so tell me, I know in Owners Club, our big push is like a Mount Everest and maybe you don't have all that ironed out right now, but what is your big vision, like the direction that you're headed?
Yeah, good question. So my Mount Everest, like it's kind of evolved over time. I feel like I wanted it to be, and I still want it to be, revolved around helping people do exactly what I did. Meaning, so I left the 9 to 5 because it wasn't serving a life that I wanted to live. And I wanted to spend more time traveling. I wanted time freedom, location freedom, and financial freedom. And in order to get those three things, I was like, well, I have to create a business that's around my life. Like I want it to be centered around what I truly want for my future. And so my Mount Everest basically revolves around that, is helping other people leave their 9 to 5 through business acquisitions or multifamily real estate and leave that lifestyle behind and find financial freedom, find location freedom, and time freedom to spend more time with their loved ones and doing the things that they truly love to do instead of in a wall, in four walls, 9 to 5 every single day, living for the weekends, waiting for that PTO to like stack up. And it's something that like really hits home for me because like I was living that life for way too long. And I mean, even as like a 29-year-old when I actually left, I was like, there's got to be more to life than like checking in and checking out and like waiting for my PTO to build up. And there was actually a pivotal moment that I really realized I was like, oh my gosh, like this is it. When my boyfriend and I, we went to Greece and Europe, a couple countries for 3.5 weeks in 2023. And by that time I left my clinic and I had my business already going. But my boyfriend, he owns his business but he works in it. So he still kind of has that 9 to 5, although it is his own business. There's a point where when we were traveling and his business wasn't making any income because he wasn't there. And while it's great, it's a business, he owns it, it's still a job, right? Like if you're not working in it and you're not seeing patients, you're not making money. But for me, I had an online business, so I could work while we were in Europe and still have income. And it was that moment where I was like, okay, I'm building something that I'm really excited about and I'm really passionate about. And maybe not everybody wants to go build a business, but if we can help people buy businesses or buy multifamily real estate to get that passive income, that check every single month that replaces their 9 to 5, then they're going to be able to go to Europe for 3.5 weeks with their family, no stress, not worrying about PTO, and be able to live their life the way life is designed to live. And so that was like a pivotal moment. I'm like, this is exactly what I want to do. This is what I want to help people do. This is like, I want to be able to just get all the skill set, all of the knowledge, the leadership skills, and be able to help guide people do that exact thing. So it's kind of my Mount Everest.
That's incredible. And what a gift, like you'll be able to touch so many lives, like not just the person that makes that one pivotal change, but like
Yep.
I'm sure that just in your sphere, you've inspired people around you. And like if you have kids someday, and like it's just a lot of a ripple effect that you're creating right there. So that's very amazing.
Yes. Yeah. It's exciting. And it's like a bigger impact, right? Because it's like we can go by businesses, we can go by multifamily, and that creates like a legacy for our family or our future family. But how can I help other people do this alongside me? And that's like the bigger deal, right? So,
Yeah. It's all about the people. That's awesome.
mhm.
So if someone wanted to work with you now, how would they connect with you?
Yeah, so I'm pretty big on social media as far as like Instagram goes. I have an Instagram and I have a couple Instagrams. I'm like, I manage too many Instagrams. My business has an Instagram, my business page, and then I have like my personal Instagram. That's probably one of the best ways I feel like. I'm also starting a podcast launching this week. It's called The Female Blueprint, and it's geared towards helping women find their own blueprint. I feel like we grew up in this life. And this is kind of multifactorial purpose. It's like womanhood, it's health, it's business, it's personal life, it's professional life. And we grow up developing other people's blueprint. People tell you how to live, how you should. You should go to college. You should do this. You should do that. And a lot of people struggle in life. And the podcast is geared towards, you know, bringing experts on and helping people find their own blueprint and making their own informed decisions, forming their own beliefs, forming their own way of living based on other people's opinions. And like, here's this information. Take what you want, believe what you want, but here it is, right? It's just changing like the modern woman to live in the modern world and develop her own blueprint, which I'm super excited about. So that's kind of like one of the big things that I'm doing right now and focusing on, which will be multifactorial for both my business, my life in real estate, investing, and just like overall bettering yourself, because you shouldn't live in one way. Like nobody should form the way that you live your life. Like you should be able to have that autonomy to decide whatever you want to be able to do. So super excited.
Agreed. And I think that there's like this change in like our generation of women, that we are really kind of becoming vocal on becoming those independent thinking, doing individuals. And I am really kind of inspired to see where that rolls down to, and like what the next couple generations of girls will be like, um,
Yes.
as they grow into women, because I think it's incredible. So that is also something I'm like, I have 3 daughters,
Yeah.
very passionate about. I was raised, like you said, there's one way to do something. Here's your role. Here's how it looks. And I have not raised them like that. And
Right.
they're all wildly independent in their own devices, like who they are and what they like. And not everyone grows up in an environment that supports that. And so I think that you're providing such a necessary educational basis. Like you said, like they can leave it, but at least it opens their mind to the potential.
Yeah.
So
And obviously my background is very health and wellness. Like I love wellness. And I think when you live a very healthy lifestyle and you lead with a healthy lifestyle, you're more motivated, you have more energy and purpose to pour into other areas of your life. Like I feel like when people are really, they're taking care of themselves self-care wise, they're more likely to like excel in business, in whatever they're venturing into. And so the root of it is going to be really health related and taking care of yourself on so many levels that it transpires you into other ways of expanding. Because when I started as a physical therapist, and like the reason I built my business to start my physical therapy company was because so many women were left high and dry in the medical system. And you could probably relate to this. Like, I feel like everybody is like, yeah, like nobody cares about, like, there's such a huge gap. Right. And so my business was created on wellness principles because I struggled with it as well. And when I started getting healthier, I'm like, wait, I feel better. I have more energy. I'm actually like motivated. And I'm like, yeah, like let me go work now. Like I'm excited to like live life, because when I feel like I wasn't, and I was sick and I was anxious and depressed, like where's the motivation to do literally anything? And I feel like we live in a world that like subscribes to that narrative. Like, no, it's okay to lean on the system. No, it's okay to take this pill, to do this, to do that. And people just take that one doctor's advice and run with it. And it's like, if we can create a conversation or a platform that allows people to like listen to like, no, there's actually another way to live. Like, you don't have to take this medication. Like, there's other avenues out there. And like just bringing in experts to be able to better their health all around and their wellness. And a lot of women are going to be listening to this who are mothers, right? Who are raising the next level of generations. And I think it starts with how you treat yourself and how you talk to yourself and take care of yourself, because that if you're not doing any of that, I feel like it's a lot harder to build a business and want to change the world and make a big impact, because it literally starts with how you feel about yourself. So it's kind of like my goal behind it all, right?
That's amazing. Yes, I love it. Well, I'm excited. I will definitely tune in.
Yeah.
When you said it goes live this week?
I'm actually recording my first couple episodes today, so we'll see how it goes.
It'll go great.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, awesome. Well, I think everyone should reach out to you and definitely partner up to kind of escape that 9 to 5 bubble.
Yes.
And then tune into your podcast to see how to change your life narrative.
Absolutely. I love that. Reach out anytime.
Yes. Thank you. I hope you have a great day.
You as well.
Oh, you're so awesome.